leaving the Open Championship in 2021, you have got to feel like you're on top of the world. You've already won 2 major championships, and you have to think to yourself, what's next? What records can I break? I just can't imagine how much confidence that you probably had leaving that Open Championship that led us into a 2022 that I'm sure was a very frustrating year for you.
Yeah. Golf was simple. Like I knew where the ball was going. I didn't have to sit on the range and try and figure things out. I go in later that fall. I win the race to Dubai and I win the DP World Championship over there. And at that point,
even that,
exactly. And at that point, like golf is feeling easy is not the right word, but just you're getting every break that you asked for, right? And like as a golfer, like when you're playing well, you get all the breaks. You think you're lucky, and some of the best players, the good players are lucky, but that's just how things are going.
Yeah.
You might hit it way offline and it hits a tree and you're in the middle of the fairway. And, I'm going to fast forward. So we'll go a month later and we go to Tiger's event. And I think this is where, not that Tiger's event bothered me, but this is where it all kind of started to just not go my way. And, I think I had a 5-shot lead going to the final round. If I win that day, I think we become number 1 in the world. Lose the lead. Victor ends up winning. And at that point, I'm like, man, yes, bad rounds happen. Leads like that, you don't often get a lead like that and then give it away. And at that point, I was like, okay, whatever. It's been a long season. Everything still feels good. Whatever. Show into 22. I think we have an okay finish at Hawaii, and then I go over to Dubai. And this is where all the nightmare fuel, all the night, just the whole thing goes abrupt. Go to Dubai, feeling a little weird, feeling a little sick, nothing's feeling right. Play Abu Dhabi the first week, go to Dubai, and we're on the range, and I'm just don't know where the ball's going. And this is kind of where I think I went down the wrong path of trying to figure it out. Instead of just saying, let's get the body right, let's just let it all heal. I come back the next week. I have Rick, my coach, come out, and we are just grinding on the range, going through these new fields, going through things that we've never done. And the problem with me as a student and as someone that wants to perfect it is, and the two coaches I've worked with, right? Rick Sessinghouse and Mark Blackburn, they will vouch for this. And I know for sure JJ will vouch. Anyone that knows me really well will vouch for this. If they bring something up and they just have an idea, I will go down this rabbit hole of coming up with 50 other things and feels that I will just say, oh, I think this feels right. Let me just try this. And then I'll ask a question. I'll be like, well, what does this do? And but what if I have my hands here? Or what if I feel this? Well, how about if I clear my lower body and try it with pressure here? And that is my worst nemesis. And that's the path I started going down in 22, early in 22 was I started to try these new feels that I've never done in my life ever. And sometimes you have to. Well, so the problem when I was in Dubai was I felt I was coming over the top. I was just pulling it hard over the top. And that's fine. I've come over the top and I've pulled it left and hit these wipey cuts. And that was kind of my bad thing. But I just felt like anything I did, nothing dropped the club. I couldn't shallow it. And for me, I couldn't get the club to just be in the slot and just kind of turn. For me, that's what I need. I can just hold my wrist conditions and turn. And from there, I started going down these fields of where I felt my hands drop and I stopped my lower body. And then, later that summer, US Open, I started playing draws. So for me, it was a nightmare because my body wasn't moving. And then I started using my hands even more. And it was just, and then I think at that point, you go in 3, 4 months, 5 months of doing it. You just build in these patterns and you forget. And that's what sucks about golf is you forget what you did for so long. It's still in there, but you have to remember, you have to just find those feels again. And I was so far out of that I think in 2022 to 2023, I've spent more hours on the range in those 2 years, or let's call it a year and a half, than I did my entire college career, and definitely within a span of 5 years before that. I've never spent that much time on the range, and like it sucked. It literally sucked, but I'm glad I'm kind of working myself out of that now.
It's so funny you say all that, because for golfers, we play our best when we can get away from the game and you can turn your brain off. When you just have that confidence of being able to go on a vacation for 2 weeks or wherever, just get away from the game and come back and know what your ingredients are, you know exactly what you need to work on. And that's how you're able to work plans and be able to improve and get better. And like you were just talking about, it's so hard to show up week to week and pound balls. And what ends up happening is your body isn't working as well. And then these feels that you think might work, you have to work on them so hard to have you any chance, because they're just Band-Aids. Basically what they are.
Yeah, no, it's like, and that's what it was. Like it was a week to week Band-Aid. It was a prayer to, I mean, even like you go back to last year, like even as recent as like Detroit's happening right now. Right. Mm-hmm. I spent 4 hours on the range trying to find a feel so I could use for that week. Yeah. It didn't last the next week. Like it was just a 1 week thing. Mm-hmm. And that's like, what's so scary about golf is that when you don't have it, these feels are just like, yeah, they're so short, but that's our sport.
You know, I listen to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our lovely fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too. So please keep it up.
For all the good people of YouTube, like and subscribe.
You guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the